Hey listeners, if you like this podcast, check out our other show, The Dinner Table. Listen to archived content and in-depth interviews with insiders working with food on our website at www.fredopie.com. Training Table serves up what we like to call a delicious menu of food traditions from athletes in youth sports to retired pros. While we all have to eat, some have culinary quirks, superstitions, and pre- and post-game rituals. That's what we capture and share around the training table. We give our audience a glimpse into athletes and their eating and exercise habits from the dining room to the locker room.
Today on the training table, Fred interviews Johns Hopkins women's lacrosse coach, Janine Tucker. Enjoy the show.
First question, you were growing up. Who was your favorite player?
I've just loved Michael Jordan. He, to me, was just the pinnacle as far as a premier athlete went. So I've always loved Michael Jordan. And back when I played, lacrosse wasn't as big of a deal. So I knew that there were players older than me, but I just kind of used it as a way to played 3 sports in high school, stay active, stay out of trouble, and then I just started to really fall in love with lacrosse. So I can't say that I had like a lacrosse figure in my brain when I was growing up, but I did always like Michael Jordan. So
when did lacrosse become the sport for you? You said you were a 3-sport athlete.
So what happened was when I went into high school, it was my sophomore year, I'd always played field hockey and softball. We'll never forget, at the end of the field hockey season, this was my first year at Lock Raven Senior High School, and the coach for field hockey said, "Do you play lacrosse?" And I said, "I don't know what that is," because I had never played before high school. And she said, "I'm going to teach you," because basically I could run. That was all I could do. So Joy Nuttall taught me the sport, leading, in that kind of preseason. And my job was to pick up every ground ball or get every ball I could and throw it to Jen, or throw it to Peggy or, all the good players. Yeah. And that's how I started. So I fell in love with it. It was just a lot more exciting than field hockey back then for me, and it moved a lot faster. So that's kind of how I got started.
You were the head coach at Johns Hopkins University for the women's team. What drill defines your team?
I would probably have to say a 4-on-3 inside the 8. So we have an 8-meter and a 12-meter actually around our goal in women's lacrosse, and we bumped it back. So I would say the 4-on-3 inside the 12. So we have 4 offensive players, 3 defensive players lined up outside this 12-meter. It's a small-sided drill, and balls go flying in. You've got to pick it up offensively and get it on cage, or you've got to pick it up defensively and get it out, and then a new ball comes in. Okay. So it's a very fast-paced drill, a lot of energy. So I would say that drill probably defines me.
What's it like to play for you?
I think to play for me, you're going to experience a ton of energy, a lot of positivity. You're going to be held to a high standard. You're going to be hugged, and you're going to get a swift kick in the butt when you need it. But I think to play for me, it's about the relationship. I just don't think you need to demean people or degrade them or scream at them or have them operate out of fear. So I think it's very much about how a relationship is going to go, and everything that I'm going to pour into you, I expect you to give back to me. So that's kind of how I would describe it.
Mm-hmm. So I know you're about to go into the Big Ten Conference in 2016?
2017.
2017.
Yes.
What's that mean for you as a program? What do you think about the Big Ten and what it brings to Hopkins lacrosse?
High class. I mean, the Big Ten is a pinnacle conference. They do everything top shelf. We saw how they treated our men's program this year. It was our first year for our men to be in the Big Ten Conference, and it was just exceptionally professional. Everyone there, from the commissioner, Jim Delaney, on down, is extremely professional, extremely driven, very supportive of their schools and the mission. They're about academics as well as athletics, which is very, very important to us. So we couldn't be more excited going into the Big Ten.
When you think about a young player who's coming to your program as a freshman, what's the biggest transition that they need to make to play at the college level?
Everybody's bigger, stronger, faster. I think there's a real kind of whoa moment when the freshmen first come in and we have that first inter-squad scrimmage, and they're kind of looking around thinking, oh my Lord, everybody's really good at this level. So I think that's something that that is a challenge for our younger players, but that's something that we try to hone in on right away to convince them, don't you let your confidence be in question. You want to make sure that you're able to raise your level of play, and we brought you here for a reason. We know you can compete at this level. So while they may think everyone around them is bigger, stronger, faster, they have the skill sets. Now it's up to us to help bring it out of them.
We'll be right back. For more interviews and related content, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and other podcast distributors. Also, check out our website at www.fredopie.com. Ask questions on Facebook at Frederick Douglass Opie and on Twitter at Dr. Fred D. Opie. For information about advertising on the show, please email us at fdopie@gmail.com. That's fdopie@gmail.com.
If you're enjoying the show, check out the episode with Harvard women's hockey coach Katie Stone. It's on the Training Table show page.
Teaching and coaching and helping kids learn life lessons is what it's all about. And if it is all about winning at all costs, then that's not the kind of person that I would want my child to play for.
Now back to the show.
What food or beverage defines your family from Baltimore? Not the family you're raising now, because I know you're a mom, but your family you grew up in.
Iced tea.
Iced tea?
Yes, iced tea. My dad would make a special concoction of iced tea, and it had fresh mint in it and lemon, and I'm not going to tell you how much sugar, but boy, was it good. So iced tea was our beverage of choice back when I was growing up.
What food or beverage defines the town you grew up in? Is there something like an eatery or a slice or a pizza, or is there something in your town that said, this is my town, this food?
Well, that was Towson. I would probably have to say pizza. We have a lot of pizza joints around that I've really enjoyed, so I would probably say pizza.
New York style or Chicago thick style?
The thin crust.
The food or beverage that defines John Hopkins?
That campus, oh gosh, that's fascinating because we have this Bon Appetit catering service that caters to Hopkins, and one of their claims to fame is everything's organic, and that they bring in kind of farm fresh vegetables and produce. So I don't know if there's one food. I would probably say the breakfast at FFC, because it's all you can eat. Fresh Foods Cafe at Hopkins. I would say their breakfast. The girls die for their breakfast at FFC. So A, it's all you can eat, and B, there's just a ton of variety. So that's what my mom would always say as far as our plate went. It had to be colorful, and there had to be a lot of variety. So I would probably say that.
Very good. I need to eat more of this. What would you say?
Can it be something to drink, or should it be a food?
It could be
I need to drink more water, and I need to eat more vegetables. No doubt about that.
I'm on the water thing as well.
I'm telling you, I am not good at it, and I need to be. It is super good for your body.
Are you walking around with the big old canister of water
My
all the time?
assistant coaches do, and I envy them because I'm not that organized. I need to get something that can attach to my person and have a little straw that goes right up there, because water is so incredibly important for so many reasons, and I didn't really figure that out until later in life. Again, the iced tea issue. But yeah, I think I need to start carrying a jug around with me for sure.
Interesting, very interesting. I can cook this from scratch. What is it?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti? Mm-hmm. Oh. Sauce too from scratch?
I'll attempt that, but I have a couple. Emeril's vodka sauce is delish, so we add a little bit of jazz to that. But I'll try the sauce. I can attempt that.
I wish I could cook this from scratch.
Wow, I'm trying to think of something sexy, but my mom always said if you can read directions, you can cook. So, but I wouldn't mind being able to make a tiramisu or something like that, like a phenomenal dessert, like a really sexy dessert from scratch.
Okay. You're obviously still in great shape, Coach. What do you do to keep yourself in shape?
I try to keep up with 30 young women and my own 2 sons. So that's what I do. I probably should do a little bit more, but I'm just active. I mean, when you're out on the practice field for 3.5 hours a day in an entire spring season, I think that really helps me. But also just kind of getting up and moving around with summer camps and recruiting. You're hiking all over God's creation. But as far as a workout routine in my real life, it really doesn't exist.
You just have genetics.
Maybe, or maybe I'm just so like high energy that I burn stuff off, I guess. But yeah, I think a good walk does a body good, so I do like to try to do that from time to time.
Very interesting. Do you have a training table or pregame meal that you have set for your girls?
I wish we did, and that's something that I think, budget-wise, I would love for us to be able to get to a place where we were able to do that on a regular basis. But we do treat the girls very well when we travel. We love to find the Italian restaurants, the pastas, the chicken, the salmon. The girls really enjoy that. But I wish that we had something at school. We're not that big yet that we could do it on a regular basis.
Final question: what can be done in your estimation to raise the profile of women's lacrosse? It's a great game. I've been coaching it with my daughter. How can we raise the profile of the women's game?
I think we need more of it on TV. I think that there needs to be more exposure for women's lacrosse nationally on television so that young girls everywhere can see what a great sport it is and how far it can take them. A lot of these young women who work so hard in the classroom and on the playing field, lacrosse can be a ticket to an awesome scholarship for many. It's just a great sport, like you said, and I think the more exposure we can give nationally on TV, the more young girls around will go, oh my gosh, I want to play for that team, or that looks like such a great sport. So that's probably what I would say.
Coach, thank you very much for taking time to speak with me.
To check out our podcast archive, suggest show topics, and advertise on the show, and to book me as a guest and or speaker, visit our website, www.fredopie.com. That's www.fredopie.com. For information about advertising on the show, please email us at fdopie@gmail.com. That's fdopie@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and be good.